star best remembered perhaps for the 2004 AL Series against the Yankees, when he pitched with his right sock bloody from a recent surgery. Here's the 2016 Facebook post he got fired over on the issue of transgender restrooms. It included the line, "I don't care what they are, who they sleep with. Men's room was designed for the penis. Women's not so much. Now you need laws telling us differently? Pathetic." Curt Schilling joins us on the phone from the road. He's driving back from Texas and Florida, where he's been helping deliver supplies to victims of Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. Hey, Curt, you believe that you were fired unjustly for speaking your mind. I'm curious, do you therefore support Jemele Hill on the grounds that she was unjustly fired for speaking her mind?
Well, two things. First off, I wasn't fired for speaking my mind. I was fired for being a conservative. My opinions, comparing Islamic extremists to Nazis, there's facts to back that up. And my commentary around the transgender bathroom law was basically citing the fact, a logical fact, that men use the men's room and women use the women's room, and we don't need our government to tell us either. Jemele Hill, I haven't heard anything differently. You just said she was fired. I was under the impression that nothing had happened to Jemele, actually. The station issued a statement basically saying her personal opinions are her own. The frustrating part, and you're right, the First Amendment has not been abridged or violated here. As a private company, they can come and go as they please and do as they please. The problem is, for me, is that they're openly, Disney and ESPN both openly support what I believe to be racist, liberal agenda platforms while denying they do, which is kind of frustrating.
I misspoke if I said that she was fired. Of course, she has not been fired. And what I meant to ask was, do you support her right to speak her mind, given that you believe you were canned unjustly for speaking yours? I would think on some ground you would be one of her greatest advocates.
Absolutely. She shouldn't be fired. I would fire her. I would have never hired her. She has no place in any platform that represents sports. I think she's openly racist. I think she has been openly racist, but I don't need to tell you guys that. You guys have been at the forefront of this conversation at CNN since Trump's been elected.
What's meant by that last assertion?
Oh, well, I mean, you guys have, CNN, and I'm not saying you specifically, Michael, because I haven't heard anything specifically from you, but CNN has been at the vanguard of everything from the fake Russian dossier to calling Trump a white supremacist time after time, anchor after anchor, with no validation, no support for the comments. The guy denounced KKK and David Houston white supremacy since, 27 years ago on the Oprah Winfrey Show. But this is the same station that showed us 4 female news anchors with their hands up, with the hands up, don't shoot, even though that was proven to be a complete fabrication and a lie. I never heard anyone at CNN retract that. I never heard CNN retract that. And Officer Darren Wilson's life was ruined for doing his job.
I'd love on a different day to litigate each one of the points that you just made here, because there's a response for each one of them. But instead what I'll do is I'll respond to you saying you were fired for being a conservative. I wasn't even going to drill down on it, but put back on the screen that Facebook post that Curt Schilling distributed, where you cherry-picked an aberrant photograph and you used it to besmirch an entire class of individuals. That's why you got fired. Now, do you want to have that conversation? Because I'll have it.
Mike, that's not true, Mike. I didn't besmirch an entire group of people. I said that men should use the men's room and women should use the women's room.
Really? Do you think that the image that's on the screen is typical of the transgendered among us? Seriously?
No, and I never said it. I never said it was. That wasn't my picture.
By implication, you did. Yeah, come on. Cheap shot.
Of course Right. No, I get that. I understand that's how you guys work, and I get it. You guys are about getting ratings, and so you need to be bombastic, and you need to make assumptions for the viewers, because you guys have operated on the notion that we're too stupid to think for ourselves. The fact of the matter was, my comment was around the fact I don't need my government to tell me where to pee, and we've never needed our government
to tell you something.
To tell us where we have to go to the bathroom.
I deal in an evidentiary thinking. I don't like the you guys and your network. If you have a beef, hold on a second. Hold on a second. You know what? You were pompous when you were in Philly, and you're pompous today because you come on my program and you make a number of wild assertions. You make a number of wild assertions, none with specificity relative to me and my program. Now give me the final word out of decency. Go ahead.
No, I made it very clear, Mike. I wasn't referring directly to you, and I said that because I haven't heard you say anything. I was referring to the people you work for. You work for a company that has openly displayed its hatred of our president, that has lied time and time again about event after event after event, from reporting a BuzzFeed report that was completely fabricated. And you're part of the reason, and I say you're being CNN. You're part of the reason we're here. You're part of the reason Trump won.
You know the funny thing is to me, I got to just say this. Like one of the mantras of conservatives is this notion of personal responsibility. And yet, when it's your own conduct at issue, it's a dodge. It's like to point in every other direction. Why don't we have a conversation about your behavior that caused you to get fired from ESPN instead of you turning around and wanting to talk about the dossier that BuzzFeed produced? I thought we were having a conversation about ESPN having canned you.
Right. They should have canned me. That's what they believe. My First Amendment rights weren't abridged. I got fired for saying things that my bosses disagreed with. That's how it works. I'm all right with that. I got fired for reasons of my own doing. I don't have a problem admitting that.
Okay. I'm happy to hear you say that. You were fired for your own conduct. I mean, that's the bottom line. By the way, I'm for consistency. In case you're curious, I'm for consistency. If in fact they are going to say you're political, you're a distraction, that's not our business, we're sports, you're out of here, I'm going to tell you something that may come as news to you. I want them to hold that same standard for everybody. You, her, and whoever is next.
But you can agree with me that that's not even remotely close to what they do. They have made it very, and again, they're right, Michael. They're a privately owned company. They can do whatever they choose to do. Disney and ESPN have decided that they will support the Bomani Jones and the Jamil Hills of the world, who are every bit as racist and intolerant as they say everybody else is. That's their prerogative.
Curt Schilling, I appreciate you being here. Now for a different perspective, Fox Sports senior correspondent and NFL sideline reporter Pam Oliver. Aren't you glad you came out to play today, Pam?
Oh my gosh, what is happening here? I'm thinking maybe Curt Schilling was fired because they didn't like him.